I am me. I will never pretend to be another. I will never want to be another. I will not change who I am just to fit in. I am me. I am not perfect, but I'm working on myself. Working to become the best version of myself. I am working on myself to continue to expand my own self through my own work, in my own way. I am me.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Wanda GodsBratt of Watching Wanda's World on Wednesday, normally at 8 p.m. Don't get confused by the late timing, guys. It's normally 8 p.m., but tonight we had a special. This is going to be a special episode, and I know everyone is at home preparing for Thanksgiving, and hopefully you can listen to us while you're preparing your meal. I have with me Tangela Garner and Denise Chester, and we're going to talk about, how do I put it? We're going to talk about those of us that don't really get overjoyed with the holidays, those of us that have suffered loss, those of us that may be dealing with depression, those of us that may have some dysfunction in the family and relationships aren't what they should be, or how you would like them to be. We're going to talk about that, and don't think this is going to be a woe is me moment, because also we're going to talk about how we're coping with them and give you a resource to help you cope. And if you're feeling any of what I just mentioned, then hopefully you'll realize that you're not in this alone. Do you think I explained that properly, ladies?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna kick this off with, hi Quita. Hi babe. I'm gonna kick this off with me. I Ooh,
Heavy.
family relationships aren't as I would like them to be. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because people aren't here to state their side of view or to defend themselves. But relationships that come naturally and easily to other people, for some reason, is a struggle within my own life. Not because of anything that I've done, and I'm not going to play the victim because I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me, because I don't feel sorry for me. But my life hasn't been easy. From what my therapists over the years have said, I should be a drug addict. I should be addicted to drugs. I should be promiscuous. I should have never been able to hold down the type of jobs that I've had. I should be every negative statistic in the book. And I beat the odds. By the grace of God, I beat the odds. I suffered through depression at times. I suffered through chronic pain. And like I said, certain relationships just aren't what I'd like them to be, as they should be. Now, how do I deal with that? I try to be the best person that I can be, regardless. Because the bottom line is, I can't make anyone feel a certain way for or about me. I can only be the best me that I can be. And as long as I'm operating in God's image, or what I perceive God's image to be, and that I'm trying faithfully every day to be a good person, that's all I can do. So for those of you that are out there that are really giving it your all, and these relationships just don't come easy, whether it's mother, daughter, sister, brother, father, niece, nephew, whatever the relationship, friend to friend, if you can, try to fix it. But what I'm going to say is respect those people that say everything is not fixable, because you don't know people's story. You only know the parts that they choose to share with you. And sometimes they only share what is bearable to share. Everything isn't for everybody. So if they say it's not fixable, or they're not in a space yet that they're ready to work on it, respect it, because you don't know their story. And I'm going to stop there for now.
Well, I'll pick up off of that because
And you look
everything.
so beautiful. I'm sorry.
Thank
My
you.
sister is beautiful. That's
Thank you.
Denise.
Everything isn't fixable. And everybody doesn't want things to be repaired. So
Speak on
on the
that.
receiving end of that, they have to be ready to receive it as well. And part of the reason, as you stated, why we came together with this on this platform with this topic was because the holidays are coming, or we at a holiday, we're at a major holiday,
Right.
and then we start over. But for some people, especially like me, another reason why I said I would piggyback first is because I obviously have lost my mother this year, in February. So while February was at the beginning of the year and we're at the end, it still feels like the the call. It still feels like to me that the call that I got was yesterday. And I'm not saying that I wake up and I relive that every day, but I do have constant reminders that, she's not here with me. And this year is even more tough because it's also the 33rd year that my grandmother has been gone. And so it's doubly for me. And Thanksgiving is typically my favorite holiday. But what I can tell you is that from September to now, presently, as far as depression and not being able to sleep, I'm checking all of those boxes are checked for me. And while tomorrow, typically I would just be ready to get down and grub out. I'm honestly like, am I gonna feel like eating tomorrow? Which wasn't a question that I've had to really deal with for 33 years. Because I love Thanksgiving. I loved, for that matter, my mother-in-law's cooking, my mother's cooking, and when my grandmother passed and I seen that change in my mother, you understand it, but I was 10, or I was 10 or 11. And
Hi, May May.
hey, May
I'm
May,
sorry.
you understand it, but like when you experience it, like it becomes a completely different story. So for me, I'm just like, I'm going to love to see my family, but honestly, I don't know where I'm going to be mentally tomorrow. I will do my best, but I am sad. I am depressed. I am, I'm still mourning the loss of my mother and my father-in-law and everybody else. But your mother is your mother, and you know, I'm fortunate to not have had that type of relationship that I needed to repair with her. Don't get me wrong, there are others. There are relationships that need repairing, but I'm focused on, you know, me and trying to get through this. And it's difficult. And for me to say, I don't know if I'm going to want to eat tomorrow, that's a big deal. Like, you know, because
It
I
is.
love, I love to, well, first of all, I love food. Second, I love Thanksgiving food and, you know, be looking forward to shopping or maybe not shopping, spending time. But honestly, you know, throwing my foot out the bed tomorrow is the biggest task that I have tomorrow.
Well, I want to say this to you, and I think you'll receive this the way I intended. I'm careful not to say it to a lot of people, but I am envious of you, not in your grief,
Mm-hmm.
but that you had such a good relationship with your mom that there is a pull.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, I don't want you hurting, but one of my relationships is with my mom who is alive. Um, I love her, but there are some things that stand in the way.
Yeah.
And I wish, like, I always envisioned that at this stage of the game, that would be like my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not it. But I am blessed that God has seen fit to send me surrogates. I have my best friend's mom, Shantae, and mommy Christine. I have my mate's mom and the family where I lack in my biological family, I've created my own.
Mm-hmm.
And the love is so intense and genuine. And it feels really good because I choose them and they choose me back.
Yeah.
And I don't have to beg for love that should come naturally.
Agreed. Yeah.
You,
Agreed.
Tangela.
Well, I guess I come into this equation as someone who never experienced that strain, that family strain that you speak of. But what I did experience was losing my mother about 24 days before, not many days before Thanksgiving.
Mm.
It makes 10 years now. But to understand where Denise is,
Mm-hmm.
um, I remember the first everything. I remember the first Thanksgiving. Um, I was at a place where I was not mentally able to do anything. There was no Thanksgiving for me. I didn't get up out of the bed, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't have people tell you, well, you've got to go on and, you know, you've got to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
You go on and you get over it in your time.
Amen.
And I still don't celebrate Thanksgiving like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't celebrate Christmas like I used to.
Okay.
My daughter was 12, and I would get up on Christmas morning and do, you know, the minimum, what I had to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know, give her gifts, but then I was right back in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not a big deal. Okay, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. I'm not I'm not sad anymore. I still miss those meals and, you know, getting together and the things we would do. We would sit down after dinner and, you know, she didn't do the Thanksgiving shopping. She just gave directions and the money and told us where to go. So, you know, we don't have those days of going through the paper anymore and, you know, doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
But more like a friend's Thanksgiving or a friend's Christmas. You know, I'm there, you know, with friends and family, um, as I can bear it.
Mm-hmm.
And just because it's 10 years does not mean I should be over it. You know,
Exactly.
you have a long way to go, but you've got to do what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it may take getting some counseling. I'm still in counseling, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Me too.
So am I.
I recommend counseling for everyone, even if it's not this situation. I believe everyone needs someone to talk to,
Mhm.
Right.
someone that you can tell everything to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from the standpoint of I'm just going to be there for day for you, for anybody that needs somebody to be there. You can call me at any time.
And I love you for that. It's
And
like,
I do. I love her too because we tear that phone up.
you know, it's like
Yeah.
we have a sisterhood circle that is so special. And like I said, this is not a woe is me. Quita said, wow. This is not like a woe is me. This is not meant to be depressing. It's also to tell you how we cope.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I have oh, she said she loves you too.
I
Oh,
love you too,
see
sweet.
that?
um I have created my own family in the situation where there are lacks within my biological. And I stopped trying to make people stop tap dancing to make people love me. I'm lovable.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to grant myself grace. Um, if other people find it easy to love and accept Wanda for Wanda, I've come to understand that some people choose to pretend to misunderstand you for their own benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
and I accept that now as I've matured. I've gotten to the point that I'm tired of crying, sliding down the wall. It seems like I spent my first 50 years of life fighting for just what should be natural, or crying or sad or depressed. And I'm just determined that the next half century, I'm going to live, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to love, I'm going to make love, I'm going to travel, I'm going to do whatever feeds my soul. I'm going to be true to Wanda because Wanda was so busy living for everybody else's love and acceptance that she forgot to love herself. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell everybody to practice self-care and self-love, whatever that means to you personally.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Thank
agree.
you, May May.
I agree. Because grace, granting yourself grace, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that was the first thing I heard. And I'm like, I hear that. I hear it. But why wouldn't I grant myself grace? But I came to a point where I was like, okay, now have I, had enough time? Like, should I be getting up and doing something? And um I my circle, I don't have that disconnect. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. So anybody I have in my life right now are just they're my bonus. They're my sprinkles. I don't have, I don't have those people, and I did not um after my teenage years, after I came out of high school or whatever. I didn't have a problem loving myself. I think if you go back and ask anybody,
Don't go chasing
right,
waterfalls.
Waterfall.
waterfalls, exactly. They will
Inside joke, guys.
right. They will remember one thing about me, and it's that I really loved on myself. I'm not saying I woke up like that, but once I arrived there, I never left it. And I think part of that is because I had such a good relationship with my mother. And I'm not saying we didn't, back and forth as teenagers, but when I was a teenager, but it was just very brief.
Right.
I was just, she always says I was, her easy child. So it was just brief. And so when I lost my mother, I lost my best friend as well. Like, trust me, I don't have a problem. I have a group of great friends. And I don't have a problem having friends, but she was just that, she was just that person for me. And I'm like, you want to go to TJ Maxx? And she's like, yeah, let me grab my Crocs or whatever. And we're going.
Right.
So, I think that that's a testament of what our relationship was from the beginning. She was married, but she had me very young. She had me at 19.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, we grew up together.
Right.
Yeah, but as far as my confidence and just sewing into me and building me up, she never had a issue with that, and I haven't had the trauma. But however, by all circumstances, yeah, I shouldn't have finished school. I should be, I should have multiple children, multiple, daddies to the children. All of those statistics that, that came custom built in, as per society. I didn't do any of those things. And I have a sister and a brother, and they didn't do any of those things either, So I think it speaks volumes, when you do have that relationship, because it makes it, I'm not saying that this is easy, but right now for me, when I think about the memories, that is what makes it hard for me to get through. I'm like, because I'm not saying we didn't have rough times, but like the times that I remember were good times, especially the recent ones. And you miss that. You just miss that. And it makes you, you long for that once your loved one is gone. And when you can't do it, the reality is that nothing in my life will ever be the same. I will get through this. Like I said, you guys don't even know. In my opinion, I have the cream of the crop in my life. And it just is refreshing because I can just come where I go, come to TikTok, come to the iPad, and we'll work it out, we'll talk it out. And you really have just been instrumental in getting me to just keep going with what I love.
Right.
Now, the regular things, like, all right, you gotta get through the house with the dusting. I'm like, okay, I'm like, Tangela, I'm gonna get that when I wake up or when I come back or whatever. But I don't know when that time is gonna be that, I'll be able to go and face Thanksgiving normally. But I also
normal has changed.
My
right. You have to figure out what normal is for you now.
Right. It's a new normal, and I don't, I'm not used to it. I don't like it. I don't want it. I was just talking to my brother, and the same thing. We were talking like, look, next year we're getting a cabin, and we're gonna, if we want to cook, we'll cook. If we don't, we won't.
Some lunch meat sandwiches and call
exactly. And we can just sleep, or we can do whatever, but we want to kind of just do something a little different, because I'm going through my first everything, like Tangela said, but I don't know that I don't know what kind of memory I'm going to have of it, because it really seems like a blur, even as I go through it. Birthday, my birthday, her birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas is going to come. And, when she said she wasn't a fan of the holidays after my grandmother passed, that's when I remember it. I never really fully understood. And then when she left here, I was just like, oh, I immediately understood. I'm like, oh, I can't say yes to a whole lot of things. I can't, it just changed. So, the holidays are a good time to spend with your family, but do that in spite of the holiday. Go check on that person. Check on your strong person, your strong people, because your strong people are the ones sliding down the wall or having trouble getting out of the bed, um, and get out of the bed
They're
eventually.
still
But
taking the phone call when somebody
exactly,
calls with a
exactly,
problem.
exactly. And I agree with Tangela with therapy. I don't care who you are. I really think therapy should be mandatory for you to get a driver's license because,
Mhm.
um, you know, it, you may not think you're getting anything from it, but you are. You will get something from it.
Mhm.
And I don't know when it, if I don't know that there is an end date for it. You don't have to
You
make,
know what? You don't have to
yeah,
have an end date because nobody can tell you your season of grieving.
right.
No, it's individual. Some people jump up the next day and they just function.
Yeah.
Some people it may take a couple of weeks, some people it may take a couple of years, some people never get over it. I will never get
Hmm.
over both of my grandmothers and my godmother dying. Not to say that I didn't love my grandfather, but it was a different type of relationship.
Yes, absolutely.
And
So
everyone grieves different.
differently.
And that's something you have to. I was sharing with Day that I got mad at my sister because I felt like she wasn't grieving enough. And,
Mhm.
I was like walking around crying, and I'm wondering why she's not walking around crying. And then I'm mad at her because she's not crying. And,
Enough.
what I needed to realize was if we both sat up and cried, who was going to make the arrangements,
Hmm.
and who was going to do everything that needed to be done. And I mean, we are night and day. We always have been. She's the one, she's the oldest, I'm the youngest. She was the stronger one in that area.
Mhm.
Now, did she have her moment to slide down the wall and cry? I'm sure she did, but I never saw it.
Hmm.
Right, right.
So, just remember, you don't know when or how somebody's
Exactly.
grieving.
Hmm.
And be
Hmm.
present and listen to, like, pay attention to your friends, like Denise was saying, the strong ones, because sometimes even the strong feel weak. And
Hmm.
that was one of the reasons for this podcast
Yeah.
tonight. I I wanted you all to know because I felt like, and another person, Justina Freeman, was supposed to be on the podcast, but she's on Central Time and getting off work later, and she may pop in here after she gets off work. But she lost her husband suddenly, as far as I know, during the summertime. I know she lost her husband, and I think it was sudden. And I can feel her pain through her posts.
Yeah.
And whether she knew it or not, I told her tonight, but I pray for her often. I
Hmm.
think of her often because their posts were so sweet. You could feel the love radiating off of the post. I cannot imagine if
Yeah.
someone called me, and I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. I don't even want it in the atmosphere.
Hmm.
I feel her pain, even
Yeah.
though she's a social media friend. But
Mhm.
pain is pain. And if you have any compassion in you, when you see someone loving on someone and they having fun and they laughing and they joking and just the smallest to the biggest things, you can't help but empathize if you have
Absolutely. It was heartbreaking even hearing it the other night, because I've heard it so many times this year. This
hmm
year it's been rough. Um
yeah.
a lot of unexpected, um
And how about not just this year, through COVID?
yeah, I mean,
Everything is
it's
so
like
many
2020
people,
never left.
right? So many people feel the need to put on the facade of being strong. And I just want people
Mhm.
to understand that you're not alone, and you're validated in your feelings. Like, it's okay to not be okay. Just
Mhm.
try not to live in that moment. Seek
Mhm.
the help that you need.
Yeah.
If you are in a negative situation, You do not have to be a product of your environment or circumstance. I chose to be the opposite of every statistic that they told me I was going to be. You do not have to subscribe to other people's stuff.
And that's how I got through. I did not subscribe to, you know, what people thought I would be or should be, or, you know, and that's how you got through. I got through. And it, you know, it was hard to say no to a lot of things, but I'm telling you, the day my mother closed her eyes, the answer was no. And yes, everybody's going to grieve differently, but she was still my priority. Taking care of what I needed to take care of was was still the priority. And then everything else, I didn't have it. I didn't have it in me. You know, people will give social media a bad name, and you know, I have an opinion about it, but in general, a lot of it is driven by, you know, how you feed it as well.
Which you put it into it.
Yeah.
Which you follow, which you allow in your spirit. Because
exactly.
For me, social media is a positive.
And that's what I said. That was where I was going. Like for me, I would not have met these 12 wonderful ladies who, you know, hang with me, whether I'm daytime, nighttime, you know, overnight. We'll be up. Listen. We're talking about everything but makeup half the time. And I look forward to that. You know, social media, surprisingly for me, has been part of my therapy, with different platforms. But it's because I get to see and speak to and be lifted up by, you know, these wonderful ladies, these, you know, and gentlemen that come in, but my core are my girls, my ladies. And I'm like, you know, I'll be sitting, or I'm like, I gotta post content, but like, I really just want to do makeup so we can just get on here and talk. And
because it's more than makeup.
Right, exactly. I want to talk. I want to laugh. I want to do those things. And as soon as I incorporated that back in my life, I started to go. I'm not where I'm gonna be, and I know that, but I started to, you know, I just started to slowly feel better about like facing my new normal, if you will.
I'm so proud of you, because just in the time that we've become sisters, notice I didn't say friends.
Right.
In that time, you've come a long way. And I know you have a long way to go, but you've come a long way. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sis.
I know every day is not easy. I know some days you struggle to put your feet on the floor, but you do it in spite of.
Yep.
You do it in spite of. I am honored beyond words that you tell me that I am little Lawn.
Yeah, seriously. And that is that, you know, that was a connection that was immediate. And it was really funny, because like I always say, I was up. I'm trying to find, are there people up doing makeup? And I knew, but I hadn't found you. And then I said, wait a minute. She says she's from Baltimore. Hold on. First of all, it was the purple hair. And then I said, I gotta go back. Let me go back one. And I'm like, oh, her hair's purple. We're watching this. Me and Belle. Everybody knows Belle. We're gonna watch this.
We love you too. Oh, we're thankful for you too, Quita. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely thankful. And I watched the whole thing, and I look up, it's whatever o'clock, and I'm like, man, I want her to meet my mother, because you were talking about chronic pain. My mom had chronic pain. And I, you know, unfortunately we never got to that, but even then was things you were saying. And then when we met and I was like,
clicked
immediately. And I said, okay, I hear you. I see what you're doing here. And I like that. Okay. You made sure you put me in front of somebody who is just about, there are very subtle things that make you guys different, but I mean very, very little. And when I had her extra lipstick, I said, she look good in this lipstick. I'm gonna give her this lipstick. And when she walked out of the bathroom, me and my niece were like, for me,
Where
it
my
was like,
lipstick at? Wait a minute, because it's in this purse. It's just got so much in this purse. Hold up.
I couldn't believe it because, hey Tay,
Look,
you got it, and she
I
look
keep it with me, okay?
right, yeah,
Okay,
and
right?
yep, just some of it. You would be surprised at some of the things that she says that I'm just like, there could be
We can't
no
say it, but
right, yeah,
It's
we
like
can't
your
say it.
mother.
We can't say it here necessarily, but
right.
there would be no way, that she would just know these things and
Uh,
be trying and saying it to me just to, make the connection. So I know that the connection is there and it was ordered. But I feel like that with each and every one in my group. Tangela, she told me she lost her mom immediately. Call me anytime. And May May, same thing. Everybody, Quita, that's my Nettie. And my list goes on, but it's just,
Even the nieces,
that has kept me
the
motivated
young
because
folks,
yes. It keeps me motivated. And if I think that I can't get through something, I'll get on. And I know if it is something, without the shadow of a doubt, one of them are gonna pick it up and be like, what's really going on?
yeah.
What's really going on?
Where's your phone out?
Yeah.
And I even know when you're sitting there looking at it like, I'm not ready yet.
I be like, I gotta go, I gotta run, I gotta do this real quick. I'm gonna call it right back. And Wanda, let me tell you something. Wanda does not care. She's going to call you back. And that's how my mother was. My mother was like, oh, okay, you're not gonna answer the phone yet. I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna give you some time the first time. But the second, if I gotta call you the third time,
if I need to get in that little Acura,
you're right.
I will. I'll pull up.
One of the first things she said to me was, "What's your address?" And I was trying to like sit down and type it, and it had been hours. And she called me and said, I need your address. And I said, okay, I'm gonna send it to you. And I sent it to her because I was like, she gonna call me back. She's gonna text me if I don't send this address, because I want to be able to check on her and she check on me. And if we have to physically come to somebody's house, then we just do.
That's what it is.
That's just what it is.
We're present friends. We're not
right. Exactly. Present friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very present. And literally, I had and still do, sisters, but like I added to, God took my mom, but he added things to my life and subtracted some things too that I didn't need. But like tomorrow for me, I will miss her cooking. Because my husband is an excellent cook. My mother-in-law, I'm gonna eat her food. She's here. But I won't have my mother's food. I'll do her sauerkraut, which is a East Coast thing apparently. So I'll do that. But it's the after stuff, like my mother wouldn't necessarily do a turkey. Like I was telling Wanda, she would stuff a rockfish with, crab meat and shrimp. And then we would have the sides, but we would have some steamed shrimp or some, so we didn't necessarily do traditional Thanksgiving. We did it based on how we were feeling. And then, I'm the one who's going to pack the refrigerator perfectly. I'll put everything away. And she's like, off our feet, sitting down, and we're just laughing at, how people are still scattered. They don't they act as if, you know, Thanksgiving doesn't come the same time every year. And you know, we're just usually laughing or something, and you know, grab my pie. And but last Thanksgiving she was here, and like she said, you know, it was just, it's just different when you don't have them. It's just different. And we all have lost somebody who's close to us, and you know, those days are gonna be different. And I know I will get through it, but you know, it's like, you know, it's like taking a big exam or something. You know, your anticipation of what the day is going to be like, you just don't know.
You know what? Can I just piggyback off of that, because you know me and my scatterbrain, and that different is different. Even for those of us that have estranged or difficult relationships, just because a relationship is difficult doesn't mean you can't have good days with that person. If a moment is good, allow it to be good. Don't feel like you have to hang on to the dysfunction. Enjoy that good moment. I mean, it may last, it may not last, but allow yourself to feel whatever it is you feel authentically.
Yeah.
I had a very good moment with one of the people that I have a dysfunctional relationship with. And I'm so proud of myself for how I handled it and am handling it. And if I was caught up in the what was done, or how it was done, or how it was reacted to or not reacted to, or whatever, I wouldn't have allowed myself to have that moment. And it has become part of it has become a cherished memory. So in that, don't be so stoic that you can't enjoy a good moment, even if it's with someone that is I'm just going to say a difficult relationship in your life. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm just giving you some coping skills, because so many people out here feel the need to come across like everything is so perfect in my life. Oh, I'm so perfect, and my life is perfect, and my children are perfect, and blah 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 blah. And meanwhile, they're going through hell silently. Also, I wanted to say, my cousin Kim last week gave out a resource. And if you're in Maryland, she is a resource. You can contact me if you're going through, and I'll pass along your information so that she can help you find the necessary resources. But 988 is not just the suicide prevention line. It is also a line that gives out resources in several different areas. If you find yourself alone, and if you're not blessed enough to have a circle of friends that you feel comfortable enough to talk to, like we're talking here, and beyond, because we get into it, like we go deep, and we ask the hard questions, and but if you're not blessed enough to have that person in your life, then dial 988.
Yeah,
it's not just suicide prevention. And just know that you are worthy, that you deserve to be here. Your opinion matters. Someone loves you. God loves you. I love you. You deserve to be here. You deserve to be heard.
Definitely. You know, that resource was so good as well, because they change those numbers every now and then. So, you know, to have an actual number where you can call and get the resources, because people don't know where to start.
Right.
And my next piece of advice is just don't be afraid to utilize your resources. That's why they exist. Utilize your resources. I can guarantee you that you're sitting next to somebody tomorrow who's dealing with something, but they don't know that they have somebody that they can talk to. They don't know that they could call you or text you and say, you know, you got a minute, or, you know, 9 chances out of 10, there's somebody in that room. who is going through something, and they're never going to talk about it. They'll never seek help of, of a therapist or a psychiatrist. In our communities, we have a stigma about therapy and medication. Don't do that, because that could be the determination between whether you're sitting here having this conversation, or you're walking up and down the street unclothed. Like I mean, those are the extremes.
Right.
So don't do that. I always joke and say I have both on payroll, because those appointments don't get missed. Those appointments for me are important. And even on the days where I'm like, I don't want to, I still do it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Let's do better with breaking that stigma. And if you see someone who is, maybe not caroling, or maybe not, having the best expression on their face, for the holiday, it's probably not personal. It's it is just, it's difficult. It's difficult to reach deep down in there and find that, that piece of whatever you need to get through it, or to remember it and experience it like it was when you don't have your loved ones. For me, this year has been nothing but loss, from last July to, obviously my mother and beyond that. But, when you go through something like that, it absolutely has nothing to do with, the person who's sitting next to you, or, coming in for dinner that's, happy and enjoys the holidays and, participates fully and all of those things. It is probably something that they're dealing with. And if you're me, I'm going to ask the question, because obviously
I have questions.
I have questions.
That's her phrase. I have questions.
That's my phrase. I have questions, And if you'll give me the time of day, I'll talk to you, because it just, I never lacked people to talk to and people checking on me. And these ladies here, even like my text messages right now, I'm not even gonna tell you how many messages I have in there, because when I got their messages, I'm checking their messages. When I got my other sister's messages, I'm checking those. Everybody else, if it was a bill, if it was a this, if it was a that, I'll get to it when I get to it.
And then, I wanted to say one other thing too. I want you to be present. I want you to be available. I want you to be there. But also remember to set boundaries, because it can be taxing. Sometimes I take on so many people's energies that I withdraw for a week or two. Because I have to replenish self. So if you feel the need to replenish yourself, don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about it. Understand that no is a complete sentence, does not require an explanation. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
No means no.
No means no. And not no, but it's definitely a no, because because I just can't. No. No, that's it.
And it's okay. It's okay to set boundaries. Other people do. Other people deal with you when they want to deal with you. People deal with who and what they want when they want to. So don't feel guilty about setting boundaries.
Yeah. Well, because what you find out is that people will still keep pulling from you, even during those times. And like Tangela said, you're like, I'm the oldest, so I'm like, okay, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I don't know. Do you remember that our mother passed? But I tried not to speak on that, because that was their way of grieving. Me, my immediate thought as the first and oldest child is to just solve the problem, take care of whatever it is, fix it, and then I can rest. But if it's,
Right.
I can't leave any loose ends. But that's just the birth order. That is not, anything that is personal. It just really is like, basically I was second in line. And when somebody told me, I think it was actually my therapist, that said, now you're the matriarch. I'm like, but I
Right.
didn't
I
ask
didn't
for
ask
that
for this.
job. I
Right.
didn't want that. You know,
Mhm.
I kind of shared that position, but when it was presented to me like that, I'm like, oh
Wow.
no, I don't,
I hadn't even thought
Yeah.
about that day.
yeah, I had, and neither had I. But I'm like, no, I'm not ready for that. Because I was fine with it being a shared position,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like, yeah, you took you inherited that. And that there, it was like, I am not prepared. I am not prepared.
Mhm.
But even then you still have to set boundaries. And whereas it may have been a yes for her, it may be a no for me, because I have to protect my peace
And
and
ooh,
At all times.
say that again.
protect my peace.
Ooh, at any
Um,
cost.
yeah. And it is crucial and critical that anybody that's going to be that's going to ride out with me, I'm protecting peace at all times. And it just at my core, I'm not going to have my peace disturbed.
Because it's so hard to come by.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so hard. And I don't, social media is where we meet up, but we meet up offline too.
Mm-hmm.
We're
That's
peaceful.
right.
So
Right.
I'm not going to come, or I'm not going to be on social media and my peace is disturbed, because now it's personal.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right.
I've had a disturbance of my peace, and I don't like it.
Exactly.
So I'll do what I have to do to protect it. And honestly, that goes with the holidays too. I have to, if I'm not feeling it, I may have to walk away.
Exit stage left.
Yeah, right. And I don't feel like I owe anybody an explanation. Everybody knows it's difficult. So, when she said, "Oh yeah, you took the matriarch role," and you're the matriarch, and I'm like, mm-mm. Now nope, I didn't apply, but I didn't apply.
I
I
ain't
didn't
applying for
apply
this
for that job.
position.
You didn't have
Right.
to apply.
Right, exactly. It was given to me, and I'm like, well, I got to get through this part first before I can do anything else. But it was a reality. It was yet another reality check for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But we basically wanted to come on and tell you guys that we get it, that everybody is not exuberant about the holidays.
Mm-mm.
Everybody doesn't have the perfect life or feel the need to present the facade of a perfect life when all hell is breaking loose and when there's so many thoughts going through your mind. And it's okay to not be okay, but seek the help that you need
Mm-hmm.
and
Utilize your resources.
utilize your resources and know that you're not alone. You are not alone. I'm sorry.
Right.
Y'all know I had to break the moment. Um, Jay, I do everything with a song.
She does. She
It would
works
not
on
have
that
been
song
me
in a
if I
minute.
didn't do that.
Exactly. She come up with a song. All she do is laugh.
But I'm gonna close it out because I don't, like I said, I didn't want this to be a woe is me. I didn't want this to be a negative Nancy type podcast, but we wanted to express that we understand it's not perfect for everyone, but don't feel like you're alone. 988 friend. Um, just do what you have to do to protect your peace.
Absolutely.
That was like the best statement of the whole daggone live.
Protect your peace. It's crucial. You know, if you protect your peace, those days where it's hardest to get out of throw your foot out of the bed, they will get less and less. And I can tell you, you know, I've experienced that. They get less and less, you know, but it feels like forever. But protect your peace, because if not, people will get in there and scramble you all up, and then the next thing you know, you looking for something to take, or you know. No, protect your peace, because everybody else is going to protect theirs when it comes down to it.
Girl, you are spitting some gems in here. Woo, my word, my word. Tangela, do you have anything you'd like to say in closing?
I think they hit the nail on the head. Everything you said.
I agree. So with that, I want you two to stay on when I end the live. But with that, I'm gonna say, give my normal saying that I do on my makeup lives, and I am about to start coming back doing my makeup lives, y'all.
The queen is taking her seat.
I'm about to start coming back.
So when I'm doing this and doing this and doing this, is because she right behind me. Y'all will know.
Yeah. So we about to hit the, the 1-2 punch again.
Yes.
Thank you, May May. I am about to start doing my lives again. I miss my family. I miss the queens that check on me. Thank you to those that come in my inbox and where you've been. I miss you. I love you. And it's really more than makeup. Makeup really, is a catalyst that brings so many people together for so many different reasons.
Yeah, it's like the catalyst, but it's so much bigger than makeup. You have no idea. No idea.
And I have friendships that I've formed online that are true blue friendships. True blue. And wouldn't trade these queens for anything in the world.
Not at all. Not at all.
So with that, I'm not even gonna go. But if you see a queen and her crown is a little twisted, it's falling off, she never had one, help her pick it up, help her fix it. Or if you have an extra one, give her one of yours. If you have a few extra coins, buy one. Or if you have a couple of extra, loan one. But the most important part of this process is that once you've helped that queen to position her crown on her head, zip your lips. Be your sister's keeper. It is not your place to go telling everybody, well, so-and-so was going through this and I did this and I did that and I did. Because then you're not doing it from a genuine place of helping that person. You're doing it to get attention. So be your sister's keeper. If she goes around and tells somebody, that's her business. If she wants to do that. But don't go telling that queen's business to get some accolades and for a good deed, because at that point, it wasn't a good deed.
A good deed. Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Gigi. So with that, I am going to say peace. Remember, the enemy separates, we unify. Peace and blessings. I love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.